Unity.
Good morning.
All right. Feel free to join in and have a good time with this song.
1, 2, 3, 4.
How sweet it is to be loved by you. How sweet it is to be loved by you.
In the shelter of someone's arms, and there you were. I needed someone to understand my ups and downs, and there you were. We speak love and devotion, deeply touching my emotion. I wanna stop and thank you, baby. I just wanna stop and thank you, baby. How sweet it is to be loved by you. How sweet it is to be loved by you. I close my eyes at night, wondering where I'd be without you in my life. Everything I did was just a bore, and everywhere I went, you know I've been there before. But you brightened up for me all of my days with a love so sweet in so many ways. I wanna stop and thank you, baby. I just wanna stop and thank you, baby. How sweet it is to be loved by you. How sweet it is to be loved by you. Myself. Me, that's you, and there ain't nobody else. I wanna stop and thank you, baby. I just wanna stop and thank you, baby. How sweet it is to be loved by you. How sweet it is to be loved by you. To be loved by you. How sweet it is to be loved by you. Shoop, shoop, dee doo, shoop, dee doo. Shoop, shoop, dee doo, shoop. Shoop dee doo. Shoop, shoop, shoop dee doo. Shoop dee doo. How sweet it is to be loved by you.
Welcome to Unity of Gaithersburg on this beautiful, almost spring day. Happy daylight savings time. You're all here. Well, we're getting there. We're getting there. Well, welcome, and we welcome everyone who are streaming in via YouTube this morning. Welcome. And so here we are, and let's just take a deep breath and just breathe into this moment. So we just take a breath once more and feel ourselves centered. As we breathe into our hearts and open our hearts to be blessed and uplifted by spiritual community this morning. And as we prepare for that blessing by setting that intention, we also prepare ourselves to be uplifted by every handshake and every hug, every exchange of word and presence. And how grateful we are for your presence here this morning. Know that this experience would not be the same without you. So thank you. Thank you for being here. And for this beautiful day, for each beautiful heart here, and for this beautiful space, this campus, the music and all of it. We just do feel gratitude overflowing. And so it is. Amen. Amen. Well, Unity of Gaithersburg has a vision and mission, and if you would like to see what we're up to with that, please feel free to turn over your bulletin and read that. And we'd like to welcome anyone here for the very first time. If you're here with us for the very first time, if you would raise your hands really nice and tall and just keep them raised, and the ushers will come and bring you a welcome packet. And that has just some goodies inside. And if you'll fill out the card on the very front and put it in our offering bag, we'll just simply add your email address to our Friday afternoon online newsletter that just tells you everything that's happening here at Unity of Gaithersburg. All right, well, let's stand and sing a congregational song. And this one entails some motion, so you might want to spread out just a little bit.
Back to your seats.
morning, Unity. My name is Lorna Dixon. I see some of you already have that, so. Good to be here, so good to be here. This week's transformational opportunities are detailed in our community newsletter, and you may receive next week's edition by sharing your email with us. And now please take a moment to completely silence your cell phone. Thank you. Tonight, Lynn May and Edie Crane will be hosting an intercultural cafe from 7 to 9 p.m. in the sanctuary. There will be music, readings, and discussion, along with a potluck dessert. Ooh, yum. This is offered for a love offering. So, I plan to see you there. And Lynn is going to come up and briefly share some information about this event.
Hi. About a year ago, I had a download. There was a lot of fear, and we were a little frightened that our world was becoming a little too us versus them. And I said the best way we can fight that is to love one another and to love our neighbors. And so we've spent quite a bit of time getting some of our neighbors to come. Tonight we're going to have some friends who are Islamic, who are Muslim. And I have a Jewish friend who's coming. And we're all going to talk about some of our world religions and the things that we all share. I want to try and open your mind and open your heart. And I hope you'll join us tonight.
Thank you, Lynn. Confession. I was planning to come anyway, but that just got me so emotional. So, thank you, Lynn. Thank you, Edie. And thank you for everybody for participating, for sharing with this experience. Thank you. Our second annual Big Spring Prosperity Fling online auction is on the horizon. This is our time to explore ideas for auction donations. Donation forms will be accepted beginning Sunday, March 18th. Exciting ideas have already been mentioned by some of you, including Orioles tickets, a home-cooked dinner, piano lessons, and a weekend at your favorite timeshare. Thank you, folks, for donating only new, unused items and lots of offers from your favorite retailers and restaurants. So thank you. Unused new items. Bidding is the week of April 20th through the 29th. Thank you in advance for your donations to the Big Spring Prosperity Fling. It will be a fun and prosperous event. Mark your calendars for our Good Friday service on Friday, March 30th. We will release what no longer serves us and open the way to rise on Easter Sunday with joy and readiness to proclaim our Christ nature. On Sunday, April 1st, we will have a glorious Easter Sunday at Unity of Gaithersburg as we claim and celebrate our divine nature and also close the season for peace and nonviolence. Join us for extraordinary music, beauty, and heart connection at these very special services. Unity of Gaithersburg is once again hosting a magnificent week of SEE, Spiritual Education and Enrichment classes, June 3rd through the 8th. We will be offering 7 classes with an outstanding faculty. Joining us will be Reverend Robert Burnett from Kansas, Reverend Eileen Gore from California, licensed Unity teacher Jane McCarthy, our very own Jane McCarthy, and our beloved Reverend Cheryl, and Reverend Tony Fish from Frederick. For details and registration, head to our website. Flyers and brochures are available in the Lobby Information Center. Don't miss this week of learning, reflection, and transformation. Last but not least, our own communications director, Zaina Davis, will facilitate a social media basics workshop on Saturday, April 7th from 10 a.m. until noon here at Unity of Gaithersburg. She will teach us how to navigate the basic ins and outs of social media. We'll explore Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and more. Expand your horizons, won't you? And learn to clearly navigate the online world. This is offered for a $25 love offering. And now, please, center yourselves as we reflect together on today's daily word. Our focus today is oneness. From love and peace, I see and feel the communion of oneness. Let's just take a breath and allow those words to settle into our hearts. Oneness is the deep spiritual connection of my heart to the hearts of those around me. Love and peace flow between us, and I feel that sacred connection. My life is deepened and enriched by the communion I experience as I allow the oneness that is to be what I see. I am aware of oneness as I observe kindness being shared between two strangers. I see it in the eyes of every person I meet, regardless of race, political belief, sexual orientation, or lifestyle. I feel it when I appreciate the beauty of nature and become aware there is no separation between me, the trees, and animals. There is only one heart, one love, and one life. Recognizing and honoring the oneness that is the truth of us is my spiritual practice. From the inherent love and peace I am, I see and feel that sacred communion and know it uplifts the consciousness of our world. And from 1 Corinthians 6:17 comes a reminder, but whoever is united is one. And now let us prepare for meditation by singing All Is Well.
As I close my eyes and the world disappears, I can feel my breath rise and fall. There's a light inside that dispels all my fears, and I hear a gentle voice calling. All is well, all is well.
So once again, let's take a deep breath together. And as we consciously breathe, we just allow our bodies to relax and be fully supported by the chair beneath us. And so we just breathe into our heart. just feel our heart open and available this morning. Today's world and appearances can feel and look very separate and chaotic. And as we navigate in the world, what is ours to know? As the daily word said, from the love and peace in our heart, oneness. That regardless of how separate our world looks, what we know in our hearts is that there's only one. And so this morning, in the stillness of this reflective time, just inviting us to bring to our mind's eye some images and to breathe into our heart the knowing of oneness. And so let's start with the natural world. Just bring to mind a place in your heart that's special to you in nature. Maybe it's the ocean. Maybe it's your garden or the woods. Just breathe into your heart and feel that beautiful warmth of connection. Notice how oneness feels. As we know, there's no separation from a tree or a flower or a wave in the ocean. And now take a moment to bring someone to your mind that you love dearly. Maybe it's a child. Maybe it's a spouse or a dear friend. And just breathe into that connection you feel with that person, where there is no doubt in your mind of the oneness you share. Heart to heart, love expressing. And now let's shift our focus to something maybe you have seen on the news or Facebook this week that might have been unsettling for you. And I just invite you to breathe into that energy and see if you can feel a similar oneness that you felt with nature and someone that you love. Knowing that the inherent nature of everyone and everything is love and peace. See if you can access that same love with this story or this event that unsettled you this week. And so as we move now into a time of silence, I just invite you to continue to bring images to your mind's eye that might challenge you to remember the truth. But your heart knows. And I just invite you as we go into the silence to breathe into your heart and access the love and compassion there in the silence. oneness is. And when we breathe into that awareness in our heart, and we open our heart, love flows. So just take a deep breath. And just take another deep breath into your open heart. Thank you for the love and the compassion that you bring to our world, regardless of appearances. And so it is. Amen.
Play the game and you can act out the part, but you know it wasn't written for you. Tell me, how can you stand there with your broken heart, ashamed of playing a fool? One thing can lead to another, it doesn't take any sacrifice. Oh, father and mother, sister and brother, if it feels nice, don't think twice. Just shower the people you love with love and show them the way that you feel. Things are gonna work out fine if you only will. Shower the people you love with love, show them the way that you feel. Things are gonna be much better if you only will. You can run, but you cannot hide. This is widely known. What you plan to do with your foolish pride when you're all by yourself alone? Once you tell somebody the way that you feel, you can feel it beginning to ease. I think it's true what they say about the squeaky wheel, always getting the grease. Better to shower the people you love with love and show them the way that you feel. Things are gonna work out fine if you only will. But I'd like to say it, shower the people you love with love. Show them the way that you feel. Things are gonna be much better if you only will. Shower the people you love with love. Show them the way that you feel. Shower the people you love with love. Show them the way that you feel. Shower the people you love with love. Show them the way that you feel. Shower the people you love with love. Show them the way that you feel. They say shower every life who you love with love. They say the rain must fall that you feel. It's like the shower in the rain you love with love. Make it rain, the rain that you feel. Sunshine, make it rain the way that you feel. Shower the people you love with love. Show them the way that you feel. Things are gonna work out better if you only will.
Let's give them some more love. That was beautiful. So one thing in the opening I wanted to just, that I didn't share with you, that I'd like to share with you now is our focus for the 64 Ways for 64 Days, the season for peace and nonviolence that we're in. And today's focus is, today I will treat the children I encounter with respect and care, knowing that I serve as a model to them. Yeah, beautiful. Well, on their 50th wedding anniversary, a couple summed up the reason for their long and happy marriage. Sounds a little bit like the joke from last week, but it's a theme. The husband said, "I have tried never to be selfish. After all, there is no I in the word marriage." And the wife said, "For my part, I have never corrected my husband's spelling." One more. A man walked into a store to return a pair of eyeglasses that he had purchased for his wife a week before. The store manager asked, "What seems to be the problem, sir?" The man replied, "I'm returning these glasses I bought for my wife. She's still not seeing things my way." Oh, dear. Welcome back, Michelle Shea. Let's get Michelle Shea. Michelle has been in Greece working with immigrants. We're so glad to have you back, safe and sound. Well, here we are, still in the midst of our focus on Brene Brown's Braving the Wilderness. And I just want to honor that you're hanging in there, because what I realize and know is that this is not light-hearted material. It's really not. And it's, to me, it feels very relevant, and it feels like something that we get to talk about. Right? Are you with me? All right. Okay, kind of. Okay, good. All right. So last week we talked about, actually, last week was Raymond Anderson. Wasn't that fun? Yeah. So what we are exploring in this message series is what it really means to be free. If you recall the quote by Maya Angelou that is so beautiful, She says, you're only free when you realize you belong no place, you belong every place. No place at all. The price is high. The reward is great. The price is high. The reward is great. And on Wednesday nights, we've really been delving into what it really means to belong. What does it really mean to belong? And what does it really mean to be free in that belonging? You know, Brene talks a lot in this book about loneliness. You know, our world has never been smaller. You know, it's not unusual on Facebook to communicate with someone from Sweden or France or Africa, you know, all over the world. Yet, from 1980 to now, the stats of loneliness have doubled. In 1980, 20% of Americans reported feeling lonely. And today it's more like 40%. Even with all the ways that we have now to connect. And so Brene starts talking about in this book what's going on here. And she talks about something called sorting. That we have sorted ourselves into factions based on ideologies and politics. And we've turned away from each other in blame and shame and anger because we're so afraid. And she says that our world is in a spiritual collective crisis because we've forgotten that we belong to each other. And did you know that at a DNA level, we are hardwired to connect? We are hardwired to belong. That our neural, hormonal, and genetic makeup supports interdependence over independence. That we gain strength from our ability to communicate, work, and play together. Yet we're more isolated than ever. How can that be? Brene talks about at the very source of this disconnection is fear. It's fear. Our fear of vulnerability, our fear of getting hurt, of being alone, our fear of being criticized and made wrong. We're afraid of conflict and not being good enough. And I thought this was fascinating, what she talked about with terrorism. That terrorism, yes, is meant to hurt people immediately, but it's also what its pure purpose is to be divisive, is to generate fear. It's a process of generating fear, of allowing fear to disconnect us and make us fearful of each other, because what happens as a result of terrorism is that we create an other to be afraid of. We create language and images of this enemy that locks it into our minds and hearts, and it hardens our hearts, and it closes our minds and our hearts to possibility. We tend to go deep into self-protection and isolation, divide and conquer. I mean, how many of us have had second thoughts about going to a large gathering because we're afraid? I remember, the 4th of July, going downtown D.C., and I heard some people say, gosh, I'm just kind of hesitant to go in case something happens. So, fear. The thing is, what do we do in the midst of that? And so what Brene talks about is that we get to reclaim our authenticity and our connection. We have to reclaim belonging. Because she said people are hard to hate close up. We got to move in. We got to move in. And she suggests to do this to replace hate with pain. And so she gave some examples of this, but what came to my heart was the recent Parkland shooting. And we can say that this 19-year-old young man was filled with hate. And so what Brene would suggest is, what if we could substitute that he was filled with hate? We substitute that word. He was filled with pain. He was filled with pain. The white supremacists that marched in Charlottesville, that in appearances scream and yell and show up in hatred. What Brene suggests is that let's go deeper and let's replace that with they were filled and were expressing deep pain. So what it does and what she's calling us to do is to rehumanize. See, what happens is while we're so isolated from each other is that we've dehumanized each other. Yes, when we create an other, that person is no longer a person. It's kind of a thing, an object. And she talks about this concept called moral exclusion, that in the realm of dehumanization, what we have done as a culture and society is created certain groups that no longer fit our moral code of conduct because they're all of a sudden less than human. And then we don't treat them well. So, okay, this is our human condition. Now, what is ours to do? And so she gives us some tools in this book. And one of the main tools that she gives us is very simple, and we hear it in other teachings. It's just called listening. It's called listening. What if we could listen to each other? Because being self-righteous and dug in, folks, not caring about others blinds us to our own. You know, Gandhi said, an eye for an eye makes the whole world blind. But I have to say, and this was True Confessions, you know, we're getting pretty deep on Wednesday nights. And the one thing is, we're good people, and we can talk about rehumanizing our world, and we can talk about substituting the word hate with pain. But what we have to also acknowledge is when we really just don't feel like it. You know, there are just some days when I know for myself, and I shared with the group, that I can just sit down and have a good old cry. Yeah. That's some of the things that people say about people that are so untrue. And it's just because they haven't had an experience of love with another person that's different than them. And it can hurt my heart. And I know it hurts all of our hearts because I know all of you hold love and connection and see beyond any perceived differences. And so it's just being honest and gentle with ourselves, folks, as we navigate the world right now when we don't feel like being respectful. Or we get on Facebook and we say something in response to a comment that just riles us up. And then we click the little up arrow and we go, oh God, why did I do that? Because then what we notice, you notice what it stirs? It stirs the pot of separateness. And what we know, and I know I've said this a zillion times, is that we can never come together, we never heal separateness from the same energy. It just sparks it. We have to be that bridge. So, addressing it with love and pain, because she also points out, wow, the energy that we spend meeting that energy of separation with more separation, folks, it takes so much more energy to meet it with separation than it does with love and compassion. Because remember, we're hardwired. We are hardwired for love and compassion. Regardless of whether you feel it or not, that is your DNA. You are hardwired to connect. You are hardwired to belong. So, there was a story that I did want to share with you from the book about how we transform our anger, because a lot of the response to what's happening, people have shared with me, I just feel so angry. And how do I work with that? And there was a man in the book named Antoine Lioris. His wife, Helene, was killed by terrorists. at the Bataclan Theater in Paris, along with 88 other people. And 2 days after the attack, he wrote an open letter to his wife killers on Facebook. And I'm just going to give you the gist of it. He said, "You stole the life of an exceptional human being, the love of my life, the mother of my son, but you will not have my hate." In other words, your actions will not make me hate you. I won't do it, and neither will my son, because we pay such a price for holding hatred in our heart. So we have to learn to listen and to be willing to get to what's underlying. Because there is, as she says, that pain underneath that hate. And there's a verse from Proverbs that says, "Let the wise hear and gain in learning, and those that understand acquire skill." See, as we listen, we learn, we understand, and we become skillful in taking action and connection. Yeah, but the tricky part about listening is that we've got to be willing to hear opinions that don't match our own, that might even hurt our feelings. But we never have to take abuse. We create healthy boundaries. But the one thing that Brene says is that we've got to be willing to reach across a perceived aisle and listen and actually say the words, "Tell me more." Now, I don't know about you. Sometimes I get an earful in the first 30 seconds. Right? And that's just honest. You know, if it's something that, if it's an opinion that just feels very, I don't understand. But the thing I have to realize is they don't understand me either. And as clear as we think we might be and as right as we think we might be, what if we could sit across from each other and say, "Tell me more"? That is just one simple step in how we can rehumanize the conversations that are happening in our world. Because I care enough about you to know what's on your heart. And you care enough about me to know what's on mine. So, how are you doing? Yeah, this is not the easiest road, folks. But if you would like to hear Brene did an amazing interview with Oprah Winfrey on her show online called Living Brave. And she asked Oprah some very vulnerable questions. And what was so beautiful was Oprah's willingness to just be vulnerable and to share from her heart. See, that's what it's going to take, folks. Us being willing to be vulnerable and share from our heart, our truth. So, okay, this week, let's do a little rehumanizing experience, or experiment. Let's do that. So this week, when you're out in your life and you hear something that jolts you, I invite you just to inner reflect. Is this really about hate or is it about pain? And what is one thing I can do to rehumanize it? Just one thing from the love and compassion in my heart. And I'm going to ask you to do that with yourself. Because, folks, I think we can forget ourselves in this whole equation. Where can you be more gentle and more loving with yourself? Where can you give yourself love and compassion? So, are we ready? You know, we're out there and we're being warriors of love. We're going to go out of here and we're going to zap some people with some love and compassion. How's that? Okay. All right. Thank you for saying yes. Folks, we're making a difference. We really are. And thank you for being in this conversation with us. I know it's not the easiest, but it feels like it's really important. So let's affirm together. I transform fear into courage and focus on what matters. I generate love, compassion, and connection within myself and within others. Yes, you do. And so it is. Amen.
Thank you, Reverend Cheryl, for that beautiful message. And now, this is our time to give from our unlimited abundance and open hearts. As you hold your tithes and offerings in your hand, here is some prosperity wisdom from The Answer Is You by Reverend Michael Beckwith. Genuine abundance comes from the interior of our being, the what of us, which is called by many names, such as life force, God, Brahma, spirit, love intelligence. It is not about becoming something. It is about discovering, accepting, and expressing what is already true of us. Let us now affirm our offering blessing together. Divine love, I am, blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. And I am so grateful.
Can I just say one thing before the musicians? I just want to let you know, at our community meeting, someone suggested that they would like for us to offer you as a way to give on your credit card. And so we did some research on how that can be done in a very secure way. And so what we did was, thank you, Edie, for creating the offering envelopes. There's a function now that we can do called text to give. And if you follow the instructions on the back of your offering envelope, it's a very secure way to give with your credit card. So thank you for that suggestion. And it's through our Breeze software, and it truly is secure and safe. So we just wanted to bring that to your awareness. Thank you so much.
People all over the world join hands, start a love train, love train. People all over the world join hands, start a love train, love train. The next stop that we make will be England. Tell all the folks in Russia and China too. Don't you miss that train? Don't go. This train keep on riding, riding on through. Yeah, yeah. All over the world, join hands, start a love train, love train. People all over the world, join hands, start a love train. Oh, my brothers over in Africa, tell all the folks in Egypt and Israel too. Please don't miss this train at the station. But if you miss it, I feel sorry, sorry for you. Well, hey, yeah, all over the world, join hands, start a love train, love train. People all over the world, join hands, start a love train, love train. Let it ride, let it ride, let it ride, get on board.
music team. Let's give them some more love, music team. And now, remain standing and let's just sing in our youth. Please be seated.
Happy Sunday, Happy Palm Sunday. This week.
It's not Palm Sunday.
Oh, it's not Palm. Oh well. Anyway, we did an exploration of Holy Week, and that started with Palm Sunday. So it was Palm Sunday for us. And we started with Palm Sunday, and then we talked about Jesus cleansing the temple, and then we talked about the parables. And so we actually spent the day studying Holy Week. And the kids will talk to you about their lesson.
This Easter season, I choose to experience divine peace by focusing on the strength of divine spirit within me.
This Easter season, I support peace on earth with my willingness to renew my mind, my body, and my soul.
This Easter season, I support peace on earth by honoring the divine nature of everyone and everything around me.
I affirm peace on earth begins with me.
So I just want to put out a little brag about our youth director, Pauline, who is not here today. And thank you so much, Kevin, and all of you for covering while Pauline is gone. Pauline is at a youth educators conference on the Eastern Shore where she has been invited to share the curriculum that she has created here. They have asked her to present that, so I'm bragging on Pauline. That's very fun. So let's stand and bless our children. Together, you are the light of the world. Live as the light. So let's join hands and sing our peace song. Have a beautiful and blessed week. Bless you.